Hello, everyone. We're going to give it a few moments before we start, just so people can come in. Where is everyone calling from? I'm in from New York. Just write in the chat where you're calling from. Seattle.
I'm in Ottawa, Canada.
Cool. A lot of New York. Cool.
We got some coverage today. People from all over.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Cool. Before we begin, I just want to tell everyone, drop your URL for potential live CRO audit if we have time. This is only if we have time, but we probably will. So drop your URL if you want us to take a look at your website, dig a little into it, see what we can optimize really quickly. But yeah, drop your link before we start. Give it like 10 more seconds. Cool. All right, I'm just gonna start now, but thank you everyone for joining this webinar. Together, we're gonna speak about bots, bugs, and ways to, optimize these and ensure that, your conversion rate optimized, especially coming into the biggest season of the year. We're gonna go over intros really quickly. My name is Ray, head of marketing at Nostra. Previously, like you guys, I was on the B2C side, previously at 10,000 and Boxu running both ecom and retention. I'll kick it off, Darren.
Cool. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us. My name is Darren Lemus. I'm the Chief Relationships Officer over at Nostra. I've been in the e-commerce space for about 12 years, doing everything in the agency world for digital strategy, all the way to the own brand side and owning my own agency. So excited to chat. This is definitely a tough subject that has been coming about quite a bit. So excited about it. I'll kick it to you, Caitlin.
Yeah, my name's Kalen Noibu, one of the co-founders, president at Noibu. We're an Ottawa-based company, and we work with a lot of premier retailers to help them increase conversion from anything from pesky bugs, bad performance, to confusing UI.
Cool.
Cool. I'll pop into it. For those of you that don't know who Nostra is or haven't heard of us, or maybe you have, which is great. Just a little bit about us. We've been around for coming up on 3 years. We're a tech company that essentially levels up brands' websites. You can almost think of us as an infrastructure as a service. Essentially, we're delivering enterprise-grade performance that increases conversion rates, SEO security, data continuity, everything that you can really think of when it comes to server-side infrastructure. Obviously, much more detail if you're interested. We're happy to chat, but some of our brands that we work with, and yeah, like I said, excited to get into it.
Yeah, and maybe I'm being redundant, but we chatted a bit about Noibu a brief second ago. We are a verticalized software company that only sells into retailers. We have direct integrations with all the major platforms. We work with some of the largest brands of the world, like the ones here. And really, we're a platform that's purpose-built for increasing revenue. So the way that we see it is there's multiple ways of driving conversion on your website. You could either make it faster, remove friction like bugs, or actually just optimize via A/B testing. So we got you covered on the full suite, regardless of your shape or size or platform. So yeah, we're really excited, and we like to do audits as well to understand where we can drive value.
Cool. Thank you, guys. And just to quickly go over the agenda, I'm going to be talking about the problem statement. Darren will go over bots. Kaylin will go over bugs plus friction. And then together, how Nostra and Noibu can combine and really, really protect your conversion rates and ensure you're getting every dollar spent, right? And then we'll go over a quick Q&A. And again, continue to drop your URLs for a potential CRO audit. again, like me, I was on the B2C side. So basically, I've been where you guys been. And the two biggest problems that I've always encountered that my CEO told me to look for is, why did sessions increase? Why did conversion rates drop? Right. And there's a lot of factors, right? Sometimes you're not doing any viral moments, and therefore, you think that's these session spikes are content or like this moment of virality, when unfortunately it's not, and it ends up being just a spike of bots, right? In a lot of ecom brands, you're losing measurable revenue because of unseen friction on their site, driven by both bots skewing your data and bugs that are really ruining a shopper experience. These two threats basically share the same thing: cost, right? It's costing you conversions and broken trust on your website, especially during like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, product drops, or campaigns. These problems really scale up. And what ecom team lacks visibility in is analytics tools that really can't distinguish between a real or fake session, or really you can't really identify like what's causing these blocks or these friction points, right? There's a lot of blind spots in brands, and we're here to really uncover that and ensure that we're finding the fake sessions, we're finding the broken experiences, and how you regain trust. And together we will help you regain all that revenue and own your own data.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, let's talk about bots a little bit more. I think we all know this, right? Not all traffic is good traffic. But on the flip side, I think there's a misconception. Sometimes we talk about bots and we think all bots are bad. Like we don't want bots to the site. Actually, not true. There are good bots. We do want bots to get to the site. It is the malicious ones, the non-verified ones that we'll get a little bit more into detail on. But again, not all traffic is good traffic. It really kind of screws you up in a lot of ways. First and foremost, it inflates your sessions, it skews your analytics, which in turn just make it an absolute headache for forecasting or doing any sort of budgeting in terms of what you're going to spend based on the current metrics. I think Ray kind of touched on it. There's like moments of virality that might have been like, oh my gosh, we're exploding, when in actuality it's just bots. Fake visitors, ad attribution, wasted spend. If you have a massive attack, which maybe unfortunately some of you have experienced, it actually does slow site performance as well, and it inflates server costs. Even harmless crawlers that are consuming bandwidth are meant for shoppers. And ultimately, it's just it screws a lot of things up. So kind of touching back on what I mentioned, good bots, bad bots, right? I think a lot of people are wondering what the heck is going on. I'm having this problem. I felt like bots have been around, but I haven't necessarily ever had this problem. So to kind of give you a little bit of insight from the highest level, what I'll call our quote unquote old bots, they're still around. What's happening though is we've really had a progression in AI. We've had a progression in large language models like ChatGPT, called Perplexity, all of these other things. And basically what's happening is you have the AI side of things, which are crawling your site 6 to 8 times more. And then you have the AI side of things, which makes it incredibly easy to code out a scraper and host it on, let's say, AWS or something. Some of you might have problems with a lot of traffic coming from Virginia, but there's clearly humans in Virginia. It's because an Amazon Web Service data center is right there and they're hosting it on it. Those instances are the ones that are a little harder, right? It's those bots that are coming in, the price comparison bots. When you talk about bots from the highest level, you have a malicious bot, which is really easy to understand and identify. You have a verified bot. Those are the guys that we like. And then you just have a bot. It's not necessarily malicious, but it's also not verified. It might just be a scraper trying to find out information on your site. Those ones are the dangerous ones because those are the ones that are going to really inflate a lot of metrics, make you feel like bounce rates look good and add to carts look great, but orders and conversions are just not matching up. Those are the ones that kind of screw us up. So what Nostra has developed is we call it Edge Protect. A lot of the brands that use Edge Protect, It allows for accuracy in analytics, cleaner retargeting audiences. It improves campaign performance, of course. I think most important, it's trustworthy data for the purpose of forecasting and how much we should spend and what ads are actually working. And really fast implementation. But I think the largest part and why we've seen success and the reason there's an actual problem is, one, the problem that I mentioned, but two, currently when you talk about bot protection, there's really kind of one of two sides. There's one side, which I like to call the whack-a-mole. It's let's block IPs, right? We want to block this IP, that's bad. Let's block this IP. Good, but the problem is IPs are incredibly easy to change. The other side of it is blocking geographic regions, which again is good, but also not. You don't want to block an entire region that is also sending in human beings, right? So we really developed this Edge Protect on the server side of things from a bot protection perspective that allows to actually identify individually the traffic that's coming into the site and say, is this a human? Is this a bot? Is it verified or not? And is it malicious? If it's malicious, it's never getting into your site. If it is verified, let them on in. If it is not, that is going to be based on the score parameters that we set. And really, ultimately, what Edge Protect is doing for us is all of the things that I've mentioned. So I'm kind of going off on the spot right now, but ultimately, it's an incredibly large problem that we've set out to solve with Edge Protect, and we've typically been able to see like fast implementation into trustworthy data, which really allows you to kind of double down on actual analytics and ads that are doing well, if you will. So I kind of explained it already. So we live on the server level. Infrastructurally, Shopify sits on Cloudflare as a server. We ourselves sit on the server, and so our technologies are allowed to speak to one another. Instant filtering is just what I mentioned, right? It's not blocking an entire region. It's not an IP. It's an actual, is this a human? Is this a bot? There's legitimate user paths that are seamless. And then beyond that, because we're able to see clean data delivered, we can also, from an analytical perspective, see the verified bots that are coming to your site, the direct URL paths they're going to, and how often they're indexing that page as well. So if you're even going a step further and getting into the bot world of things, you can really start to detect which pages they like and they're interested in. You could also detect which large language models you can really, kind of optimize towards. Everyone has their own little intricacy. It'll help you better establish strong long tail keyword content as well from an SEO side of things. But yeah, that's Edge Protection, how it works, and kind of a little bit about the bot stuff. I know we're doing live URL audits. We are 100% going to have time for that, I'm sure. If you all have any questions too, once Kinlan goes over his stuff too, it's super interesting. Like, we're happy to answer real time. I know this is a tough subject for a lot.
Cool, thank you.
Thanks. And yeah, maybe just to provide a bit of context, I'm sure a lot of folks here are familiar with traditional session replay software, whether using Crazy Egg, Hotjar, something kind of Content Square in that space. And then you're probably familiar with performance monitoring tools or error monitoring tools like Sentry. And really what the kind of insight that we had that we think is our secret sauce is most people are on a platform like Shopify now, or on BigCommerce, or on Shopify, or on Salesforce. And ultimately, we've built a very much purpose-built tool that finds all your revenue leakages, regardless if it's coming from UI, UX, an error, performance, or something that's happening on the front end or in the back end. And because we're vertically integrated, where it's a one-click integration with a Shopify, we automatically pull in all your Shopify data. There's no custom instrumentation, and we're typically able to consolidate out 1 to 3 point solutions that teams are using. And we've built it in a very user-friendly way for e-com people. So the e-com manager, the e-com product manager. So it's very, very streamlined and very easy to work out of and to action the insights. And the insights could be anything from a front-end error to a slow page because of a third-party app, Or it could just be broken images. We even have visibility into the Shopify checkout, which I know is a black box with our given our relationship with them. And then we are looking to help you guys surface where do you have clunky UI? Where are your customer journeys? Where are you spending most of your ad dollars? Where are they actually landing on the website, and what are they doing? This is a very complicated question to answer. And because we're vertically integrated and we've combined multiple product categories, we're able to answer that in a very, very seamless way. Moving on to the next slide, why it matters, just some of the data. 53% of mobile users are abandoning their sites if it takes more than 3 seconds to load. And I bet you if you went on your mobile device right now, it wouldn't take longer than 3 seconds to load. But having that telemetry, being able to build alerts, you can start to understand why things are slowing down and how can you actually make it better. Because what we often see is incidents happen, people go to the website, they can't reproduce it, so they just kind of forget about it, and they don't actually action the root cause. I don't think we really need to talk too much about how a slow website decreases your conversion rate, but I think we're all aligned there. And yeah, cart abandonment is very complicated. Is it confusing UI? Is there an error? Did your coupon code not work? And then yeah, most times 90+% of the time, people won't take the time to actually explain it to you. And that's really the insight that has brought us this far. So if you zoom out, how we like to think about it is there's different ways of increasing your conversion. You could either get out of your customer's way by making your website faster, removing bugs, or you can kind of accelerate the happy path by changing your UI and doing A/B tests. Moving on to the next slide and how it works. It's not all that complicated. We have a integration directly with all the major platforms. So for example, with Shopify, you would just basically install the app, and then we automatically start collecting all your session replay, all your front end data, all your back end data, all your analytics data, all your performance data, and then all your heat maps and journeys. We don't sample, we do everything. And then from there, our system starts to analyze it. We have an AI for the front end, for the performance, and then we surface what we call conversion opportunities with a revenue impact. So we do that automatically to help very busy e-com managers and e-com professionals who don't have the time to go fetching for insights. We just automate that process for them so that they could just action the insights and then measure the results. And yeah, it's not all that complicated, but it's super powerful.
Cool, Darren.
Cool. Yeah, so I mean, there's an obvious reason we've teamed up here. It's a great 1-2 punch. I mean, you can almost think of it as like infrastructurally, Nostra's handling these, and then client side, Noibu is handling everything else, and it just kind of puts yourself in the best position possible. Ultimately, we're blocking non-human traffic before it even reaches the site. As I mentioned, we do have capabilities of letting those bots in and identifying who's good, who's bad, but we don't want non-human traffic coming in to the site. I read a comment in here with, bots that are coming in, creating emails all the way to get price checking and price comparisons. We don't want those. So key impacts here, we filter out about 10 to 20% of bot traffic, improve real user site speed by 5 to 15%. We reduced wasted ad spend by 8 to 12%. And I think, to be honest, which is probably the hardest part of anybody's job that's running a brand or doing marketing or anything, is it's cleaning up analytics for accurate conversion rate and ROAS tracking, which is just going to help in general with forecasting and budgeting and what's actually working, what's not. So for me, if there's anything, we're cleaning up your analytics and accuracy in terms of conversion rate and ROAS. I'll throw it to Caitlin in terms of his points.
Oh yeah, I was just answering one of the questions around Lucky Orange. So Lucky Orange is a session replay software, very similar to Clarity. It's just capturing sessions. You could maybe look at kind of the scrolls, the heap. We're full at capturing all the information, including your Shopify analytics. and pulling it all together. So there's performance data, error data, there's all your endpoints, all your third-party app data to give you a holistic picture. And our goal is to provide you insights to drive conversion versus giving you a mechanism to watch sessions.
Nice.
Cool. And just to round us off, by using Nostra and Noibu, you have like the end-to-end protection, right? Once they enter your site, to see if they're a bot or not a bot, the people that are come through that are not bots, they eventually go through the sales funnel, your website, and with Noibu, you're able to determine if there's any errors or any fall offs, and you're able to optimize and correct those mistakes. Therefore, in turn, you get clean data, a faster website, higher revenue, and honestly, like measurable ROI. And you're making all your media spend really efficient. And the joint outcomes like we typically see is an increase of up to 10% in CVR, improvement up to 25% in ROAS. And really what's most important is the reduction in wasted engineer time, right? Able to find those mistakes early on. You're able to, not ask a dev to, make your site faster or to block malicious bot attacks, which is like really detrimental to your CVR at the end of the day.
Love it. Serge, thanks for the shout out. I see you in there. Both of our clients here, Tommy John. But Caitlin, really quick, there's a question from Donnie. I might as well answer real time. How does Noibu differ from conversion-wise?
Yeah, it's a good question. I actually have not heard of ConversionWise before. So let me follow up via email. Yeah, I haven't
Tony,
heard of that before.
hit Caitlin up and get that answer for you. Thanks for bringing something in there. I like it. Ray, I know that you've been jotting down some URLs. I'm kind of just doing a quick scan if there's any other questions. I know that we have Q&A right now, guys. Literally, we're here for you all. If you have questions for myself or Caitlin on in any degree of, bots or optimizing or friction or, to be honest, site speed, like there's a lot that we do. I know that we're pretty focused in on bots and bugs today, but general knowledge is pretty efficient if you'd like to ask any questions.
Keep them coming. Robert just asked the question, Darren.
Okay, how about difference from clickies? Clixies? Maybe we use this to limit bot attacks, target our ad budget. I would assume that's more for us. To be honest, I haven't necessarily heard of them. I would assume targeting our ads, but I would assume it's probably IP or region based. I have not heard of them on my side. I don't know if you have, Caitlin, but clickies.
No, I haven't. And Donnie, I was just doing a bit of research on ConversionWise, and it looks like they're more of a landing page A/B testing company. So they're less on the analytics side and they're more on the actual doing the work, from what I'm understanding, of landing page design and optimization.
Awesome. Claire, I see your comment, and yes, we can help solve that. We've had several clients actually use Blockify, and it is an incredible tool to a certain degree. But yeah, when you start having situations such as you mentioned, we can help with that. The main difference being like Blockify is, again, blocking large chunks of things, whereas it's literally on an individual basis that we can do for you. Frederick, do you know what has caused the large influx of bots on Shopify in the last few months? Quite a few store runners, conversions. We're experiencing much larger spikes. Overall, for me, it kind of goes back to what I was mentioning, Frederick. I think it's just, honestly, it's a combination of things. You got your normal bots that we've always been used to. You have AI now and large language models that are crawling 6 to 8 times more. You have people able to really easy fire up code to create a scraper and a crawler, if you will. If you're more of an omni-channel and use marketplaces, particularly Amazon, you're also going to have a lot of bots coming through from a price comparison standpoint to ensure that they're competing against the prices you have. So it's kind of like just this big ball of everything that's really coming in. And you all are not alone. Like across many brands, across many platforms, they're experiencing a drop in conversion rate. And some part of that is simply because of an influx of traffic. So yeah, that's what we've seen thus far in terms of that, to answer your question, Frederick. I like that, Ron. Is there a Nostra Noibu bundled offered as a service? Yeah, we'll make that happen. We can make that happen. Um, we have bot checking pricing and abandoned carts. What would your program do to stop them? Do you handle anything on that side, Kaylin, in terms of, I know it's bot side, but, abandoned carts, price checking, stuff of that nature?
Yeah, so definitely on the abandoned cart. So one of our main use cases is people are trying to investigate why aren't people converting? Is it, do I have a slow checkout? Is there a confusing UI? Is there errors? Is there something else that's missing? So we can definitely do an abandoned cart audit. That's absolutely a possibility.
Nice. Yeah, and we could even kind of it would also, this is again why we teamed up. It's a 1-2 punch, right? We can stop the bots coming in the first place, but then you'll actually have a more realistic approach to what Kaylin is speaking about, where if you have fluctuations of up and down, droppage, et cetera, it's not because of bots anymore. It's because of an actual thing happening. And that's kind of the main difference in what people are experiencing is like, what the heck is going on? My conversion rate's going down. We need to figure this out. A lot of the times it's just because you have a lot of this traffic that is telling you otherwise, that things are kind of going well top funnel and not going well bottom funnel. In actuality, it might actually be going well top funnel. So we really want to keep those bots away first and foremost. Let's see. David Saxon with a good question. How easy is it to set up Nostra Noibu on my site? Caitlin, I'll let you go first. Simplicity. What are we looking at?
Yeah, just curious, what platform are you on, David?
I would assume Shopify.
Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect. So Shopify, it takes sub 1 minute. You install this app, and that's it. So less
Dang.
than 60 seconds is my final
They got
answer.
us beat. Less than 60 seconds on their side. I'd say maybe less than 5 minutes on our side. You're adding a TXT record to your DNS file. So in both instances, incredibly quick. Not much in terms of time and resources. I'm scrolling through here. Let me get back up to abandoned carts. Can you elaborate on the type of bots? Yeah. So there's malicious. Those are the attacks. Those are very easy to spot. If you sell nothing in China and you're getting a ton of traffic from China, malicious bots. There are verified bots. Those are the Googles, the Metas. You do have the actual option as far as like our infrastructure goes, and I think it's already a default with Shopify to let AI crawlers in as well. You can kind of pick and choose there. You can block AI crawlers if you don't want them. Most of us are starting to really focus on AEO, agentic engine optimization. So you want to let those in. Again, it's the ones that are not verified and not malicious that are just coming in and scraping. There's a score system from 0 to 100. 0 to 20 typically is a bot you just do not want. If it's not verified, if it's a regular bot, you don't want them in. From 20 to 30 starts to become more of a like, there are instances where humans act as bots. And so that's where you kind of start to play around with a little optimization there. Anything usually 30 and above is okay that we let in. Beyond that, you can start to create customizations specific to regions or geographic locations. But keep in mind, even if we keep those geographic regions, locations, it's still going to be on an individualistic basis. Claire, I like this question. How do your prices compare to the other options available? Kaylin, I'll throw it to you.
Yeah, it's a good question. Because we consolidate multiple vendors, and this is going to be it depends question, but because we typically consolidate multiple vendors, we come in at about 60 to 70% of the price, because you don't have to pay vendor X to collect 35% of the same data as another vendor. Yeah.
I would say on our side for Edge Protect, we're right in the middle. There's certainly cheaper options like Blockify. I know that was mentioned, and some others that are applications within Shopify. And then there's really expensive options, like you can go to Cloudflare that Shopify hosts and just buy an enterprise account and get enterprise server-side bot protection. We kind of sit right in the middle there. Given that we are server-side bot protection, it's pretty comparable to Cloudflare's enterprise bot protection. So we're certainly more expensive than the Blockifys, but we are not way up there, like the 4 or 5 grand enterprise Cloudflare side of things. I did see, Claire, your interesting question. Why would China want to infiltrate my site? I'm not sure of your site. I have one guess. Obviously, there's a ton of different marketplaces as well that are incredibly cheap. And it could be everything from like scraping product descriptions to price comparisons to anything that's going to help their site. I mean, you guys know like Temu and Shein and all these other like super cheap sites that have comparable products. Like a lot of that is just scraping as much information as possible to essentially mirror that at a cheaper price. So that could be some of the reason. Is it the reason? I have no idea. That is just one that popped in my mind. I don't know, Caleb, if you have any like logical ideas of that, but seems right.
Yeah, it seems directly accurate. I don't know. It's a good question though.
Cool. You know what? Let's get to some sites too, and I'll keep an eye on some questions here, but maybe we get to some sites, and maybe Caitlin, if you want to kind of jump into a little audit stuff.
There's one more question about SEO monitoring. I don't know
Yeah.
if you want.
Oh, SEO monitoring. Does this include SEO monitoring? I'm not sure how you mean. It will. Yeah, I'm not sure how you mean. It'll help SEO, but I'm not sure how you mean SEO monitoring.
Cool. Is there any more questions for the chat? Unless you want to clarify, Lori. I'll give you like 20 seconds before we jump in.
Okay. Thank you, Robert. Cookies hooks into our Google Ads. Yeah. Okay. IP level blocking. So you're just blocking IPs. That's good. The difficulty is obviously we all know VPNs, IPs, all that stuff. It's super easy to change. You block one IP, I change it. Essentially, a bot is like, sweet. I found a site I can attack. I'm going to attack it. If I get blocked on an IP, I'm just going to change my IP really easily, and I'm going to keep going until I'm eventually like blocked, and then I'll move on. And that's usually what we've seen in terms of bots, wherever they're like ants, right? As soon as there's like a little hole and they see something, there's some food. Next thing you know, you got a ton of ants in a line, and they're just filtering in. How does it reduce wasted ad spend? I will start on my side, and then I think you can start on your side too, Caitlin, because this is kind of a great 1-2 punch here. So I think first and foremost, bots, unfortunately, everybody I have to assume is spending money on ads. Bots are clicking on those ads. Once they click on the ads, they're getting to your site, and then you're actually retargeting those bots. So unfortunately, it's very, very hard to avoid the click, the actual click. However, when you are able to then block those bots to your site, you're not going to start retargeting them. And in turn, your conversion metrics, your analytics, things of that nature will start to what I'll call normalize. And you can then better predict where your ad spend goes or how you're actually performing. You might think that an ad that is getting a ton of clicks and has a great like low bounce rate and really solid add to cart is like an incredible ad. and you have no idea why it's converting, but that's just a bot. So we can block that from happening. And then once we do, that's where the Kalen would come in.
Yeah, it's a good question. So what we do for that is we build alerting. We have customer journeys, so you can build customer specific alerting. So when you see this, you can basically get a notification. That's one of the use cases that our customers use. So basically, if you have an ad that's getting hijacked by a bunch of bots, you can build an alert on that, and then it would then trigger a workflow in Slack or an email, and then your team would be able to take it down.
Amazing.
Darren, there's another question for you.
Where is it?
From Allison.
Allison. We had over 30 bot sessions from China last month. Doing the Cloudflare option. Apparently Shopify doesn't support it anymore, but Shopify apps will still count towards the session.
Should basically rephrase your question again. Are you guys able to block the traffic before they land on the site so the session isn't CBR?
Yes, very easily. We identify literally every traffic visit that's coming in. We say, is it a human? Is it a bot? If it's a bot, we say, is it verified? Is it not? If it's not verified, we then go into a scoring system that we have. That scoring system can be set dependent on your comfortability, if you will, of who we want to let in. But yes, simple answer is we can block before they come. Yes, a bot can click for Meta ads and Google ads. We actually, as Nostra as a business, is an infrastructure. It's a server-side infrastructure. So while we do edge protect, we do speed and a lot of other things. One of the things that we provide is click IDs from bots. It's useful in that you know the percentage of spend, unfortunately, that bots are coming through and clicking. There are instances, it's a little harder, I will say, where you can save that click ID and later see a path in some other way to try to create a custom audience so that it's more of like a do not contact list. That's really hard, but at least you kind of get an idea of, hey, Meta, hey, Google, I see that 3 to 5% of my spend here is on bots. What can we do about it? So if we want to block all China visitors, we could do that. Yeah, very easily. Straight up, like if you wanted to literally just block China, there's probably some really cheap like bot blocking technology out there. I'm not saying we're super expensive, but there's a lot of different options. I've seen some that are $50. I've seen some that are 300. Others are more expensive like us, and then others are way up there. So it's really dependent on the problem that you have. And if it's literally just from China, I think there's probably a solution out there that's really cheap. We would love to work with you. I'm not saying we don't want to work with you, but just explore options, definitely. Chris. Cool. This is an interesting one from Helen. I don't know if you guys have, I've had bots placing fraudulent orders a lot lately, also creating a lot of abandoned carts by creating accounts and trying multiple credit cards. Very interesting in that bots don't have credit cards. Bots don't use credit cards. They can get all the way to checkout, but they don't check out. So to be honest, it might even be more in like Kalen's realm on that part, because if people are actually checking out in multiple credit cards and stuff like that, that might be in his realm, or it might even be like fraudulent activity stuff that you'd want to check out. Bots typically do not have credit cards.
Yeah, I can actually take that one. So my brother has a Shopify store, a couple million of GMV, and he actually had that problem and used our product to address it. So long story short, like Darren mentioned, it's likely not a bot, it's likely fraud, and people are just basically trying different credit cards. So first thing that he would do, because typically it will trigger a medium or high risk order in Shopify, You would then take that order number, you would then find the session replay with our product, and you'd be able to see their customer journey. Where did they come in? Where did they go? And to your point, you would actually see this person switching their address, switching their name, switching their credit cards multiple times. And what my brother ended up doing with that data was just rejecting the orders. So it would just trigger like and then he built I forget what it's called, Shopify Flow or something like that, where anytime an order that would come in medium or high risk, it would email him the session replay and it would trigger a manual review. And then 9 out of 10 times, it would just be basically a declined order that he would do. So that's definitely one of the use cases that we can help support with.
Awesome. Yeah, I don't know if you who asked that question. I'm not sure if you use an affiliate channel pretty heavily, but typically affiliate channel, you find a lot of that on that side of things. And or if you're doing any sort of promotional aspects that really benefit a customer in terms of like gift with purchase or large discounts, like you'll find that quite a bit. So always keep that in mind. You guys able to log traffic? I think we did that one. And thank you guys again for all your time and the questions. This has been awesome. David, what other things does Nostra do? Yeah, I mean, we're an infrastructure at the end of the day, enterprise grade infrastructure. To be honest, our bread and butter is site speed. That's what we came into the market for. We make a Shopify site 20 to 30% faster. We get you 3 to 5% incremental lift in revenue per visitor. But we also have Edge Protect with the bots, analytics for bots, and then we have what we call Edge ID, which is essentially just extending the cookie life of any of your applications. You don't have to deal with the good old 7-day iOS cookie refresh, if you will. We can make that last up to 2 years. I actually don't know as much. Caitlin, do you have any experience with blot out? Somebody asked if anybody's used blot out and what their experience has been.
Blot out.
About blot out on one side.
Yeah, no, that's more on the marketing side from
Yeah, I
what
figured.
I could know, and yeah, that's not on our side.
It's a Shopify flow. Serge, thank you. Confirming it is a Shopify flow on what Caitlin was speaking about.
Then I think there's a question with check.ai.
Worked with check.ai before. For a reason we don't understand, our revenue dropped dramatically. How is the technology different than check? Check.ai. Is that like check.ai more like a fraudulent type of thing? Agents, humans, bots, accusations and legitimate users from malicious actors. So it's more of a bot thing. Bot mitigation. I mean, I'm not familiar with them at all, to be honest. And I also can't think of like an immediate answer doesn't come to my mind as it relates to revenue dropping dramatically.
I can take that one. So this looks like it's on the bot and analytics side. So Ron, to answer your question, this just looks like a typical horizontal analytics / bot protection. And what we found is in the analytics space, for example, session replay, error monitoring, performance, UI, UX, it's really hard to build a good product for the SMB in the mid-market horizontally. It requires a ton of custom configurations, all these things. So all the tools that you guys are flagging outside of obviously Nostra and Noibu are horizontal. We've fine-tuned ours for commerce. So to answer your question, we literally have a product where you can just go and try and understand, like, why is my conversion down? And your conversion might be down from a couple different reasons. Number one, are you getting a ton of traffic that's bot traffic? Number two, are you having a slower user experience? Do you have errors? Is there a bad UI UX? So we have more rich data sets so that you can answer that complex question. So I'm obviously not super familiar with that product, but it looks very much like a classic horizontal product that you need to do a ton of custom instrumentation to try and get value out of.
Love it. David, yes, installation is similar for speed. To be honest, Edge Protect, we can get up in a day. If you want to do some site speed stuff, that's going to take some configuration on our side. As it relates to time and resources, your side, less than 5 minutes. Reason being, we do a lot more caching, like smart caching on the speed side. So we do take about a week or two in terms of implementation and configuration of site for site speed things. But yeah, time and resource to your side, 5 minutes. Kaylin, what are the typical errors you see? Kaylin, yeah. Sorry,
Yeah,
lots of questions. What are the typical errors you see?
no, questions are good. So it's a nuanced answer for Shopify template. It's typically going to be images that are missing, images that are broken, more simple things. Often you'll see conflicts between third-party apps and things like that. But really the bulk of the value that we're starting to really provide to merchants in this size and space on like the Shopify template ecosystem is that we bring all the data sets together. And the answer may be a bug, might be performance, it might just be a complicated UI, it might be something else that's related to that. So the answer is often in those different categories. And it's probably like 33, 33, 33 as to what the actual root cause is. But in terms of specific bugs, it's typically going to be kind of small things on the front end, like theme clashes, missing images, stuff like that.
Cool.
There's another question for you, Darren.
Let's see here. How does Edge Protect differ from Cloudflare, Akamai, Fastly solutions? Yeah, so Cloudflare, Akamai, Fastly, they're all content delivery networks. Shopify sits on top of Cloudflare as a content delivery network for any of you that don't know that. So Akamai and Fastly aren't necessarily going to be the best connection, if you will, to try to connect into that. It's going to be a little funky. Out of those three, certainly you'd want to go with Cloudflare. Enterprise Cloudflare. I think the most simple answer is Cloudflare is a platform, Nostra is a product. So it's kind of like, do you want to build your own car, or do you just want like an F1 car? I don't know, that's a bad analogy, but it's platform and product. Enterprise Cloudflare bot protection is also straight up way more expensive. And we essentially provide the same exact thing, given our technology requires an enterprise Cloudflare account to operate in terms of what we're doing.
Cool. Are there any more questions? Keep them coming.
Karen, we are not an app in Shopify, but you can reach out and we can get you set up.
Any other questions, or we'll jump into one quick site audit and then we'll call it a day. Give everyone back some time.
Cool. Yeah, let's do a site audit.
Cool. Let me just pull up one site that I found.
Maybe before we do that, can I just say something super quickly?
Yeah.
From what I'm seeing, a lot of merchants here are more on the like mid-market or SMB side of the business, and a lot of the tools that you guys are flagging are very horizontal tools. So in my experience, if you're on a platform and you don't have a massive analyst team, or you don't have a massive team and a huge bank of hours, focusing on purpose-built commerce tools are really, really important. So for people that just focus on the vertical, you're going to skip a lot of the custom instrumentation, and it's not going to be kind of like a build your own adventure. So that's something that we've been seeing as a really big advantage as we kind of keep growing in the market.
We got one last question, Caitlin. I think it's for you. Once these issues are flagged, do you offer dev support or recommend trusted devs or anything?
Yeah, it's a good question. So our product finds the root cause, like a GPS. It has a recommended solution, but you cannot implement anything without a developer. So if you don't have a development agency, we have a trusted list of Noibu certified agencies that we could refer you to.
Nice. What
Cool.
you got for us, Ray?
Just quickly looking at a brand from the chat. Gone Bananas Beachwear. We'll just quickly look at your website and see what you can probably change. The top nav here, I would make a recommendation in probably putting this all in your footer. Again, it's taking real estate when someone lands on your homepage, which essentially should be, your first impression. You're trying to sell them. This can all go into your footer. You can test that, of course. Your socials as well, unless like they're mainly coming from Instagram organic and TikTok organic. But I would, again, move that into the footer. Going down quickly, I'm looking at your hero assets. There's no real CTAs. Not sure if you can click through them or not, but again, I'm assuming you could. Let's see. I'm gonna click through your. All right, so you could click through your homepage, right? And your homepage hero lacked a CTA. So it wasn't really super intuitive. Let's see what else I can look at. Looking at your PDP. Sorry, give me a sec. I'm trying to move this. Okay, you have sizing chart. This is very good. Very well done, I think. A lot of brands like miss this mark, especially like in clothing. I used to be it from 10,000, so that one was a very frustrating. And you see that a lot in heat maps where people like click on your sizing guide all the time. Let's see. This upsell is good. There's a lot of information in your shipping information. I don't think you need to include this in your PDPs, to be honest. You could just do like a small block. Even your returns here, they could be icons, right? I wouldn't really include these 2 points there. I probably wouldn't even include shipping prices, to be honest. Again, you want to keep this clean, remove all friction to add to cart. So again, I would remove this part too. They can all live in basically your FAQ. I don't know if I would include this either. Yeah, let me see. I'll do another store. Those are pretty good takeaways for now. Another store. I'll do one more real quick. Sorry, I pulled from the top. I didn't see people were adding. Let's look at this store. Fish Hippie. Here I can see like there's 3 icons here immediately. I think that's a big no. You're having too many icons, too many potential pop-ups here. Like you have 3. That's probably not that great. The split is okay. I would keep all the top nav in like one area. I would A/B test this, see if you can shift all these mini menus into the left. Your features don't have bestsellers. I argue that's super important for first-time customers. You have new arrivals, but again, I think bestsellers is super important, especially when a prospect is trying to get to know your brand specifically. Let's see what else. Again, you don't really have to have a CTA all the time. Oh, there's a 4th icon. That's a big no. See, I was trying to rotate my rotate your homepage, and basically there's an icon right here too. So I would, essentially remove this somewhere else. But again, 4 icons, probably not the best. take a
Want to
look.
go to a product, right?
Yeah.
Vertical. I'm
So,
curious to see if
yeah, this is pretty standard. Looking at different inseams.
what
I
about
would
top?
always try, sorry. I
I'm
would,
curious if they have like a model or not on tops or jackets. One of my biggest pet peeve is not a pet peeve, but it's similar to what Ray said. For apparel and like men's, for me, it seems to be a little like more okay, I guess, on men's side. I don't know. But anyways, I see a lot of the times when it's like the model is like 6'0", 185 wearing a size large or something like that. Um, to me, it's always been incredibly helpful when that is listed. I know there's sizing charts, I know there's everything else, but just an idea of like, I know how tall I am, I know how much I weigh, I know the size, and I'm looking at that picture in the model. Just having that is just so much easier from like a picking a size standpoint. I've always just felt that way for jackets and shirts. Pants are a little different, but just as an FYI there.
yeah, to Darren's point, it's not listed here in any of the imagery, so definitely include that. I would also pressure test in breaking out these variants so there's less choices when you're making the decision. Because typically people would know like what inseam you are, like you wouldn't go from 34 to 30. You wouldn't decide to like wear capris one day and then long pants the other day. So I would really break this down out, especially in pants. Just because like again, things look out of stock when they're not really out of stock. I had this problem before at like 10,000 when I used to work there and combine different variants. Cool. We're approaching time. I hope that was very helpful. But again, take a look at your homepage, your collection page, your PDP, and just closing things off. Again, if you want to talk about bots, site speed, extending your cookies, you can reach out to us at Nostra.ai. If you want to do anything when you're looking for friction in checkout from collection page to your cart, please reach out to Kaylin. And yeah, let us know if you have any other questions. We'll give you like 1 or 2 minutes left.
Cool. Thanks, everyone. Very much appreciated for taking time out of your day. That
Thank
was
you
fun.
all.
Cool. Thank you, everyone, and have a good rest of your day.
Take care.